Hello, everyone. My name is Diana Ramirez, and I work at Reborn Cabinets. A little bit of history about myself. I started at Reborn Cabinets 33 years ago as a receptionist. So there were 5 of us on the team. So as the company grew, I wanted to learn more and more. And because it was hands-on, it was a small family business, I just kind of just jumped into everything. So learned how to do a little bit of everything, even installation, even sales. So that was kind of fun for me. This position was created specifically for me because they say I like to talk. And I just know a lot of people, so it kind of worked out for me. I did something I didn't want to do, but I realized it's a way to reach out to our community and to reach out to our students to get them motivated to be involved in manufacturing and in the industry, to learn more about what it entails, that it isn't just something simple. Excuse me, it isn't just something that you're setting in an assembly line, that there are a lot of different facets and a lot of skill that's required for a lot of these things. And it's just been so exciting for me. And I'm excited to be part of this and talking to all of you. So if we can do a once around the room and do a quick intro of ourselves and give a little bio about what you do and where you're from, I'd appreciate it. So we can start with John Caffrey.
Well, again, I'm the Regional Director for Energy Construction and Utilities for Orange County. What that means is basically I'm a liaison between industry and faculty, and even our administration at the college, trying to build programs that have that are pathways to employment for our students.
Nice. Bodo.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bodo Lill. I'm originally from Germany and moved to Southern California, Long Beach, 6 years ago. I'm the West Coast sales manager for Weinig-Holzer. Weinig-Holzer is a manufacturer, German manufacturer of industrial woodworking machines. We produce machines for panel processing and solid wood processing. I'm in the woodworking industry basically all my life. I'm very proud to tell everybody that I'm born in wood chips. My father was a carpenter, at a small carpenter shop. And after high school, I made in Germany an apprenticeship as a furniture maker. And then I went back to college and graduated from the University of Rosenheim as a wood engineer. Prior to my role here in Southern California, I worked for the company in different roles, first on the shop floor, but then, since 25 years in sales as a regional sales guy, as a sales guy for Germany, and finally for the Dutch. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Neda, for the invite, and I hope we have a good afternoon together. Give it back to Diane.
Okay, let's hear from Mr. Dale Watson.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm a consulting engineer, but I have a very atypical consulting engineering background. I grew up on a ranch in Montana, and so I learned a lot of practical skills on the ranch, and then went to high school in what I call a city, what y'all would probably call a town. And during high school, I worked also as in the construction industry, and went to university where I had the opportunity to study engineering. I received a bachelor's and a master's degree in civil engineering, and then went on to get my PhD in environmental engineering. And I taught classes at both the university level and the high school level, and went into the industry, civil engineering, worked in multiple aspects of civil engineering, from land development to brownfield remediation, hazardous waste remediation, and I spend a lot of my current time working in renewables and utility, while also stormwater and protection for stormwater, but a lot of work with Southern California Edison, PG&E, SDG&E, Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, and other solar facilities, battery storage facilities. And one of the unique things that I've learned throughout both my college career and my professional career, I'm a licensed civil engineer in 6 states, but was the practical application of skills that I learned growing up in construction and on the farm, and how that enhanced my academic knowledge and being able to help progress or help projects to progress and to be fulfilled. And then teaching at the university and high school level how it was important for students to learn that not just academics are important, but also the practical application and skills that you learn from either internships or actually having a physical job, you know, whether it's construction or whatever that you choose to do, how that applies to your professional life. Since I've been working in consulting engineering for the last 25 years, but the last 5 years I've also been volunteering for a charity that distributes wheelchairs throughout the world. And as part of that charity, I go and teach local individuals with an accompaniment of physical therapists how to set up and provide wheelchairs, new wheelchairs to people. But because of my background, I was able to establish a course where we teach these local individuals also how to do wheelchair and bicycle repair, and then start their own businesses to use those practical skills which they've learned in repairing wheelchairs or bicycles to actually have their own businesses. So I think those skills of being able to meld the practical with academic is so important. And the other thing I've learned, I speak fluent Spanish as well, and from my travels and also from time that I spent living in Argentina, and being able to communicate with people in your industry, your clients, other city officials, and those are so very important that you need to be able to develop your reading, writing, and speaking skills in order to be successful with your technical skills as well. So I work at a company called Stantec Consulting. We have 22,000 people in our company, so we're a large company all over the world. But one of the things that is really cool about our company is bringing in university students as interns, and also from our Irvine office, we work with UC Irvine to teach a senior level course in engineering development, where we bring a group of up to 10 or 12 seniors into our office, and they actually practice designing projects and learning real world engineering skills, which then they use as their senior projects and can go back. So it's really kind of a fun opportunity for me to help people to learn that practical side as well as the academic side.
That's great, thank you. And if we can go to Ms. Veronica Liu. Veronica Liu.
Hi, everybody. I'm Veronica Liu. I'm with the Fullerton Joint Union High School District, and I'm not a teacher. I oversee all of our CTE kind of grants and programs. We have a fledgling. It's new. It's still in its second year, but we're developing. We have an advanced manufacturing and automation pathway at Buena Park High School that we're very excited about, and so they're looking to expand that into year 2 and year 3. You know, in the coming years. And so we're really excited about like the MAP 2 program, because we think that that's going to be amazing once our students are done with us, that they can go to any of the community colleges and continue with this automation and kind of robotics and advanced manufacturing work. And we also have an engineering program at one of our high school, at Sunny Hills High Schools, which there's a lot of overlap, but we don't have necessarily any energy or utilities pathways. But I know that, with everything being connected now, there's something that our students can, find, and there's jobs and skills that are transferable.
Really cool, thanks. And Mr. Ulysses Garcia.
Hi, everybody. I'm the coordinator of college and career readiness for Irvine Unified in Orange County, California. We're a 35,000 student district. With my title, anything that involves preparing students for careers or increasing their college attainment, that's something that I work on, which falls under the area of CTE, so career technical education. We have 11 of the industries that are recognized by California, represented in our school district. One of them is construction. We have the BITA curriculum that we utilize, which, by the way, we are looking for 2 teachers to teach CTE, hopefully for next year. We have a great engineering program at a couple of our high schools, but manufacturing is an area where we're looking to grow. And so, you know, anybody who'd like to follow up and, you know, support Irvine Unified. I heard Dale, he's in Irvine, you know, support our engineering program. That would be great. I saw John's hand too. All right.
All right, and last but never least, Mr. Ken Starkman. Hi.
Hi, Dana. I'm Ken Starkman over at Fullerton College. We have manufacturing programs, machining and printing, and we have welding, and we have drafting, design, CAD and CAM, metrology. We teach quite a few automation courses. We have the Disney training program over here that trains all their automation techs and so forth, which we don't have any trainees right now because they're shut down. And then we dabble into you know, energy, construction, utilities from the standpoint of construction and architecture. We're working on a resort and facilities management certificate and a resort and facilities maintenance certificate. We have an industrial, we're also working on like an applied engineering technician degree, and we have you know, coursework in automation as well, an industrial maintenance type of industrial technician, as I think John mentioned earlier. So we have a wide range of programs. You know, Veronica, I'm really interested, you know, if we can help you out, you know, working with Fullerton at all. If anyone needs anything, just let us know. And, you know, I appreciate, Dan, all the things that you do as well.
Thank you, Ken. That would be amazing.
Yeah, we've got some great people in this group. We ought to connect afterwards. That's what we can do to help each other out. Okay, so we're going to start with some questions, and we've got several that we need to get through. So we're going to start with the first one, and it's, what critical and basic skills and techniques would you say you are the most important for students to succeed in this sector? So if anybody wants to chime in, and we can start from there.
Sorry.
I'll just say quickly that the 2 skills that I think are the most important for our new engineers are the practical skills that they get from either an internship or working in industry, whether it's as a technician in construction. And also, I think a lot of technical students do not put enough emphasis on their communication skills, reading, writing, speaking.
Okay, so this is more, I'm sorry, it was supposed to be more industry related. So if we're going to have Bodo or John say anything, Uli?
If I can jump in, for me, critical basic skills are for sure that the student is willing to learn, because I think at the last meeting I told everybody when I graduated from high school, I was of the opinion that, not from high school, from university, I was of the opinion being one of the smartest wood engineers on the globe. And then when I started my job on the shop floor, I realized that I have a theoretical background, but no experience. So, and if you are open to learn and willing to listen to your supervisors or to foremen, that's one very critical skill you have to bring to succeed in the construction industry.
Okay, John, anything?
Yeah, well, you know, Dale already mentioned it. Bodo mentioned it. It's the soft skills. I can tell you, I've been doing this now as a deputy sector navigator and regional director for 5 years, and I have not been in one single advisory or one single skills panel, industry skills panel, or talked to one employer that didn't say the technical skills are fine. We need the soft skills. It's the communication skills. It's the ability to work in groups. It's the ability to troubleshoot, to think on their feet, to respond correctly to a customer. I mean, there's just so many things that we try to teach in the classroom, but really, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, we have to get more work-based learning. We have to get our students on the job, internships, apprenticeship, work experience.
Yeah. And for us at Reborn, one of the things that I like to talk to the new team members about is whether it's a soft skill or a basic skill, it's just common sense. One of the things I'm grateful to my dad for is he taught me how to read a tape measure. With that, when I started Reborn, I was able to do so many things. And that's our fault. We need to teach our students how to, or our kids how to do this, so they kind of have some kind of skill when they go into the workplace. To be able to communicate, as John mentioned, and to not be so direct in your, that's not my job, that's not what I'm trying to do. Step out of the box, because the more you step out of the box, the more you learn, and the more valuable you are to any company you're at.
And Diana, I think, too, you're causing me to reflect a little bit, because when I look in our classrooms, a lot of our classrooms are like an individual workstation or a desk and a desk and a desk and a desk. We don't have a whole lot of classrooms where there's a table that seats more than two people. Sometimes we have, a table with two computers, but we don't have collaborative workstations, so to speak. And I know there are schools doing it, and every time, I walk out of the room and then I forget about this. But I think when we start to think about the design and structure of our classrooms, we need to have like 4 or 6 people sitting at a table so they're facing each other, so that when the instructors are working with them, they start talking, they don't have to like sit there and figure out the problem themselves on a piece of paper. That's not necessarily, it sounds to me like that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is they have to get together, talk about it, figure out multiple solutions, and then come to some resolution.
Absolutely. Yep. I like that, Ken. Okay, next question. Are there any specific licenses or certifications that students should complete before applying to a career? For us, we've learned that you can come in with a degree and it isn't what you actually got your degree for. So at Reborn Counties, we train you to do things the way we do it. So for us, there really isn't a certification required.
Yeah, for most engineering, you need to take your fundamental of engineering's training, which you get in the university, or preparing in high school, you take science and math classes and stuff like that. Most of your licensing you get once you have a job for engineering anyway, because you need to demonstrate both your academic skills as well as your professional skills. So you're not even eligible to get your license until you've worked in the industry for a while. I know with some of the other trades, you can get those through internships and prior to coming further along in your career. But so I think there's a little bit of both.
There's so many skills that students can learn in the classroom, technical skills, but until they really apply them on the job, where there's, all of a sudden something's in the way of them completing that wall or putting in that can light or whatever it is that they're doing on the job, they have to be able to figure out what's wrong and how to fix it, or who to go to communicate that there's that they can't follow the plan, or there's just so many troubleshooting skills that you really can't. You can teach them in the classroom. You can give them a problem and have them figure it out and let them fail. That's failure is probably more valuable than actually figuring it out the first time. But those things, when they translate on the job, and they're confronted with maybe let's say they're an electrician and they're running wires, and all of a sudden they've got this great big beam in the way. Can they drill a hole through it or not? They don't know. They better find out. And if they drill a hole and they have to replace the beam, they've made a huge mistake. So these kind of things you can't really learn in the classroom. These are trial by error sometimes, or you learn from your journeyman. You're an apprentice, and I'm a journeyman electrician. I came up through the ranks and I did all these kind of things wrong the first days when I was on the job, and I got screamed at and yelled at and sent to the truck many times. But you learn as you go, and unfortunately our students aren't getting the same upbringing that I got when I was a kid, where I had to go out before I could go anywhere. I had to go do my chores and finish something, start and finish something. I mean, the fact that our kids these days, they start things and don't finish them. Parents let them get away with it because they got busy or something. You know, that they're not learning those skills in the home. It's very difficult. They can learn it in the classroom. We make them start a project and finish it to get a grade, but that the behavior has to change, and that's very difficult to put on an employer. You expect them to hire your student and then you know, change their behavior. So things like desire, work, accountability, showing up on time, and being dressed appropriately, all those things are very important, and we need to get them on the job to learn it now, unfortunately.
I think one more thing, Diana, for your question was something we need to teach all of the trades as well as the people in those trades, whether it's engineering or electrician or whatever, is what exactly do you need to be licensed? And do you need to start that when you're in high school, or is it come during university or post university? So kind of outlining your future. Hey, if I want to be a lineman for Southern California Edison, what licenses do I need, or what training do I need, and when do I need to get them, so that they're not looking for a job realizing later that they don't have a specific license.
Well, Dale, that you just led me to my next question. So what entry-level career opportunities should students look for while currently taking classes? Does anyone have any feedback for that?
Well,
So
they
I
should
think,
definitely go ahead.
no, go ahead, John.
I was going to say they should just definitely be looking in the field that they're studying for, so that they can apply what they're learning in the classroom. You know, a lot of students are working at entry-level jobs like McDonald's or Walmart or whatever, doing what they can for minimum wage and then coming to school, but they're not having a real opportunity to apply what they learned in the class that day. So, yeah, they should try to find something in the field. And you know, when I started as an electrician, I went and I had the technical skills. I was an aviation electrician in the Navy. I got out of the Navy. I went to work at a lumber yard. And then when I got tired of that, I went and applied at an electrical company, and they weren't hiring. And I told them, I'll work for free. I'll work for free for a week. If you don't want me, then send me away. I said, but let me prove myself. And that kind of attitude, I don't see that in my son. And I don't know if what happened out there, but that's really what you know. We got to have the right attitude with our students, and an industry certification doesn't give attitude, change your attitude. They're important in like IT, where you have like a C++ or a a Net 10 or whatever. I'm not real familiar with all those, but you do need those to get into an IT job. The NIM certifications are great for manufacturing. They're respected, but again, they're not going to get you the job if you don't have the work ethic.
Yeah, yeah. So what internship or apprenticeship opportunities do you suggest students complete before applying for a career in this sector?
I think I can repeat that what John already said. You know, it doesn't make sense if you make an internship or a summer job in a Walmart or at a McDonald's, but if you want to go in woodworking construction industry, I know a lot of customers here in Southern California. They are willing to hire people, students for a summer job, you know, to work in the summer holidays for 2-3 weeks, and a lot of them get hired after they graduate.
Yeah.
So I motivate every student to say, okay, if I'm interested to go into construction industry or / woodworking industry, try to get a summer job at a lumber yard or at a cabinet. There are so many jobs which can be done by students, by high school, and start a relation like John just said, let me prove what I can do, and that could be a good start.
Yeah.
Give it back to you.
Yeah, we're actually learning. Go ahead.
You got to learn how to carry the wood before you can work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some good opportunities that I'm learning that are coming up where some of the schools are actually training the students on the job training kind of thing, and they get credit and they get paid. So this is kind of really cool to learn about this stuff.
I think
So,
also one of the things that we forget, and John mentioned this, and also that working how to do problem solving. So let's say you can't get the internship that you really want. Look for a job where you can do some problem solving. Maybe you work as a mechanic, or like you said, just in a lumber yard or something where you're actually solving problems, not just stocking shelves or doing whatever. I mean, we all have to do what we need to do to make money and to earn a living, but try to find something that has some kind of tangent skill that you're going to use in the career that you want to develop.
mhm. Yeah. Well, for our employers here, what specifically would you look for when you're considering hiring a recent graduate for a technician position?
Yeah, I would repeat that are the soft skills, because anything else, the construction woodworking industry is not that complicated. You can learn anything on site, but the most important thing is your soft skills, that you show up on time, be dressed properly, be willing to learn, be motivated, and yeah, able to work with a team or try to work in a team, and that you can find out if you put that student maybe one week on your shop floor, you can find out very quick, is he willing to change, is he willing to learn, and I think that are the most important things.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, very good, Bodo. Thank you.
Yeah, I think
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say one thing that I think our students think once they complete a program is they've finished their learning, and it's really important that we let our students know that their learning begins the day they start the job, that we've given them the foundational knowledge, but they don't know anything about the company, how they operate, what they do, when they do it, and that's the day they start really learning, and that's when the pay comes too. So I think it's important that that students know that learning is a lifelong venture in whatever you're doing.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, if any or what changes have you seen in the industry that you believe students should prepare for ahead of time? As an example, unrelated skills that are beneficial. And what I've been noticing with our manufacturing days that come in, and I like to talk to the students, it seems as though they need a little more encouragement and motivation and a little bit of cheerleading, because they're feeling so lost. Some of them are really quiet. I always reach out to the ones that are by themselves on their phone or in the corner, and I go and talk to them. With that, each year, and this will be our 6th year participating, but each year I have a student come back after manufacturing day to show me what they've been working on. For example, one guy was drawing and he likes to draw and he wants to be an artist. He came back with his dad to show me the picture that he drew. So I'm noticing the kids just need a little more encouragement. No, don't just shuffle them through. And we always look at the superstars and the ones that stand out, but it's the quiet ones in the corner, the ones that are going to be dedicated to what you need them to do. That's my opinion.
That's true. I think also another thing that we need to teach them, and what we've heard on this today, is adaptability. The willingness to continue to learn and to look at, hey, that's the way we've always done it. That doesn't always work. It may be efficient, may be great, but let's say you get a new material. You're building cabinets and you've always used composite wood or whatever, and now you have a new polymer or something that is cheaper, it's better for long-term use. You have to learn how that material functions and start to use that, as opposed to, oh, I just want to do it this way because I know how to do it.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one.
I would say, if I can add, in our industry, the woodworking industry is always a little slower compared to metalworking industry. Now all our machines, or most of our machines, equipped with a computer, and especially the millenniums or Generation X are great in running that machines, to have a computer panel to set up the machine by computer. and anyway, they are interested. They grew up with a cell phone. They grew up with a smartphone, and it's not too complicated. And that is a change in the industry we made, yeah, within the last 10 years that we see. And I have 2 or 3 customers. They really put a quite new student out of college on a machine, and they are running the whole line now, you know, with the computer motivated, you know. So it is possible within 2-3 years you can be able to run that machine properly.
Yep, absolutely.
But we don't want to forget the hand tools and teaching them how to use a lathe and all those skills that used to be in wood shop and are all gone because someday when the power goes down, you got to finish the job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, or especially on construction side, you need that hand skills because you don't have all the fancy machines on the construction side, you know.
Definitely. Yep. Okay. So if applicable, what school or technical education did you receive and how has it benefited you in your career path? So for me, old school, the founder of our company, he took me under his wing and he taught me how to engineer and draw drawings and do drafting. And then when AutoCAD came along, he taught me how to do that. And when installation came along, one of the sons said, "Come on, let's go. You're going to install a kitchen." And so I learned the old school way, hands-on, do it.
Yeah, I was an electrician when I got out of the Navy, and I started digging ditches. That's what I did for the first year. That's all I did. And I tell you, I learned how to work that shovel.
No, I was lucky. I got apprenticeship, 3 years apprenticeship as a furniture maker in Germany, and I think that was the basic of my career. You know, at the beginning I hated that when every evening I had to sweep the shop floor. You know, all the other guys, the supervisors were gone, and they checked it next morning if it were done. You know, and a lot of times they were not happy about my work sweeping the floor, but in these 3 years, I learned a lot, you know, not only technical, also soft skills and relationships. And I think that was the basic of my career.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
I always say that, oh, sorry, Diana. I always say that, you know, I went to university because I grew up on a ranch and I didn't like the hard work. But after the university, I look at it and go, I learned so much more. Well, so many different things from the hard work and the practical aspect of growing up on a ranch and working in construction that just enhanced my academic skills so much. And I think that everybody should learn to merge the two. You can't just be smart, you have to be able to apply it.
Well, that's where you learn work ethic. And unfortunately now everyone has a gardener and a pool man and someone that picks up their dog droppings, for gosh sakes. The kids don't do anything at home, you know, so
Mhm.
A robot, we just press the button and vacuums the house.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got to get back to teaching our kids work ethic.
As a follow-up, I don't think this is actually on our list of questions, Diana, but can we ask about the different training opportunities within each of your individual companies? For I know, for example, Vinik, they have the training that you guys do for other companies where they come into your site and they train them on how to work with the certain machines, or like Reborn Cabinets has that training that you guys have shown our students a lot. So can we talk about that a little bit? Maybe.
So yeah, at Reborn, we have a course called Reborn University. So we hire a team member and they may already be skilled at what they do, but they need to come in and learn. It's not learn, it's just get refreshed and reminded about some of the safety skills, some of the techniques and the way that, you know, Reborn does things and more core values. And it's just, we all like to sit in. I like to go in at least once every other month just so I can get a refresher and meet the people just to kind of hear tips, because everybody's got a new idea and a new thing that they can suggest. And so that's how we work and we learn and we revamp our own policies.
We at Vinik in our headquarters in Germany, of course, we have apprenticeship in different sections. So the apprentice goes through the whole factory and spends about 6 weeks in every department. And besides that, he goes to school, I think, every 3 months for 2 weeks. But also here in the USA, we don't have a apprenticeship, but if we hire a new team member, one of the basic is that he not only learns, if he's hired maybe for parts department, you know, to be a shipping clerk at the parts department or be to a technical advisor at the parts department. We want them to go through the whole company to understand our facility, our operation here in the United States, and then he is trained on the job and get his skills. You know, it's the same as a service technician on a machine. You know, he needs to know more than one machine. He should be familiar with every kind of machine, even if he is hired for a special section and say, okay, we want you to train as a specialist on that machine, but he should have an overview. And if he's not woodworking industry, in North Carolina, there's also a training class for cabinet maker. I think that's a four weeks course. So everybody is sent to that course to understand the woodworking industry. Give it back, Diana.
Does anyone else want to share?
Dale, have you worked with any companies that have some sort of on-site training or refresh training for their employees, and how the importance of just continuing the learning? That's one of our key points, because some of them believe, I'm done with school, I'm done with the learning, but that's not necessarily how it works.
No, like for instance, with Stantec, we have, you know, a couple of different programs. Stantec in the community, where we go out and participate in community development, local projects with schools, community groups, you know, teaching kids work skills, science, technology. We give seminars. And then also we have a learning program within Stantec where you can learn different skills if you want to work on drainage or grading or other aspects of engineering that will help you have a more well-rounded career. And also, you know, since all of the projects are just like all the trades are so tied together, like I think the other example we heard before, if you're an electrician, you're trying to put in a wire, can I drill through that beam? You know, it's the same with engineering and a lot of the other skills. Hey, I'm going to put this drainage channel over there, and it's like, but what about the street? Or, you know what I mean? It's so you have to be well-rounded and have that universal knowledge. So continual learning is very important for every job, I think.
Thank you so much. And sorry, Diana, I didn't mean to take over and out a question, but I know that continuing on learning is a really important topic for students to be aware of, because they will always be learning after they graduate.
That's correct.
Definitely. Well, it looks like I have only one more question. What advice do you have for students who are interested in pursuing a career in this industry? Sounds like we kind of brought that up several times, but you know, Ulysses and Veronica, do you have anything you want to add to this?
I have a question, and it's one of those ones that you know, not just advanced manufacturing. We have this issue with a lot of pathways, but one of the things about, you know, non-traditional industries or non-traditional roles, like I know that advanced manufacturing, you know, my dad was an auto teacher for, you know, 30 years. There are certain industries that women, girls just don't feel like they, you know enough about or know that they could succeed in. And I'm wondering kind of what advice you would have for us to kind of promote a program to non-traditional genders, or, you know, encourage, you know, more students to participate.
That's a good question, because I think it is misunderstood, well, especially in engineering, that it's like a male field and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's unfortunate, because going through the university and even in high school, a lot of my study partners were not men. You know, they were females or other, and the skill sets are not gender specific. You know, they may be people specific, that there are certain types of people that are more interested in, you know, creativity or math, engineering, or that kind of stuff. But I think it needs to start not even at the high school level, but below that. Like I have a bunch of nephews and nieces, and I try to encourage all of them to, you know, explore what they like, not just, oh, you're going to go into this, you know, as a stereotypical role. You may not like that, so don't do it. Don't, you know, there's no reason why you can't explore a role that fits your interests, and you may be well adapted to it, or you may have to work hard to do it. But either way, if you're interested in it, you're going to want to do it. So as our educators and also employers, we need to recognize those skills and desire that, hey, this person really wants to be an engineer or a designer or a manager or whatever. And what those are the skills that we want. We don't care about race, identity, gender, any of that kind of stuff. It's the capabilities of the individual. You know, that's what makes this industry so great, is everybody brings a different background, and everybody that's in it has a desire to improve not just themselves but the world. And so that's what's so cool.
Well, you know, I think we need to change the narrative in early on with our children, and with teachers talking to parents. You know, for so long we've given erector sets to boys and dollies to girls. You know, uh, that erector set should be any child that wants to create something. You know, but parents don't think of it. And it's not, they're not at fault. It's just they don't think of it. It's been the narrative, the way we raise our kids forever. So if we want more students, female students in alternative roles, or nurses for males, and women in machining, then we have to give them opportunities to explore those areas early and find where their interest lies, and then encourage them in that area. That's how we'll build it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's just going to stay the same.
And I have a perfect example of that. Like I have a son and a daughter, so I have two children. And one day I was fixing a hole in the wall and trying to patch the drywall and all that stuff. And my son wasn't really very interested in it, but my daughter came right over and goes, "What are you doing? Hey, can I work the drill? Can I do this? Can I do that?" And I was, instead of going to get my son and say, "Hey, come over here. I want to make sure you know how to do this because you're the man of the house and all that kind of," I was like, "Cool, let's do it." And so she grabbed the plaster and just was going all at it. And I was just, you know, made me feel so good that, hey, she's interested in it. I don't care. Let's do it. You know, and that has to permeate our homes, our education, everything, and even our workplaces. You know, I love what you said. That's so perfect.
I love what you said. It reminds me of my son. I made him patch the hole because he put the hole in the wall.
That's another good example of learning too. You got to deal with your response, or you know, the consequences of your actions. So that's cool.
Hey, Diana, you know, one thing I think about too is when we talk about how do you get students interested or spark the interest, one of the things that I think that, you know, my career that I think is like one of the super ingredients in the mix is relationships. And educators, we have all these students that come to us and they go into our programs, but sometimes we get so bogged down in our timeline to, you know, start on the first day of class, excuse me, and get to the, you know, the end of the semester, cover all the content and all that kind of stuff. And we never make time to bring in, you know, like 3 or 4 guest speakers or take 2 field trips or do something. You know, it's just like, oh, I don't have time for that. Or even as an instructor or a dean, you know, I can't think of a better day than going out and visiting some business or industry that I've never visited before and getting, you know, a 30 to hour tour of it and really kind of understanding what they do there. And then somehow getting a developing whatever kind of a working relationship it might be with that person. And those, I think those relationships come in, you know, different modes. Some might be for, yeah, I want to hire someone. And another mode might be that they're willing to serve on your advisory committee or something like that. But from my career, it's those people that you see a few times a year at minimum, if not a few times a month. Those are the folks that generally our students are going out to, that we're hearing about and getting good jobs and doing that kind of thing. So I really wish there was more time for CTE faculty members to be paid and be responsible for kind of nurturing relationships because they filter down to their students. It's just like if one of my kids was interested in a job and I knew someone who owned a business, I might refer my kid to call someone over there and say, hey, why don't you try it out over here? Because I know they're good people and they treat people well. So I just wish we had more time for that.
Ken, how is your work experience department over at Fullerton? Do they help you in that respect, getting your students out? No.
No, the work experience department has 18 other jobs they have to do as well. So the only time they have is actually to record these. All they're doing is recording and sharing information, and then they're on to the next thing. They're on to the next report that they have to get out or the next presentation they have to give. So it costs a little bit of money to do these types of things. But I think it's important. And like you, John, we've developed a pretty good relationship with Schneider Electric. 3 or 4 individuals from Schneider. I didn't know anyone from Schneider, and then I knew you and Terry were working with people from Schneider. Now all of a sudden Schneider's working on a whole automation package for us, and you can pick up the phone and call them with ease. And they want to do some, internships and things like that. So that wasn't because we cold called Schneider. We actually developed a relationship about, hey, can you help us with this automation system? And then it blossomed into, much more than that. So, I personally too wish I had more time to do that. I envy you, John, in that you do get to spend some time, as part of your work to foster those relationships. And I think we definitely need to do that. We're working, Israel, down at Saddleback. He's got a strong workforce grant for doing externships. And one of the ideas that we have is if faculty members struggle with getting an externship, we may just set up a tours to industry type of a thing. So we're making them make the calls themselves to see if they can get an externship. But if they come to us like in April and they say, hey, I struck out on an externship, we're going to have a plan B for them. And the plan B is still going to get them out into industries, and it's still going to get them talking to people, because we just think it's too important to say, well, I tried, but I failed, and then they just go home and turn on the TV. That's not allowed.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned, Ken. I'm hoping we're going to have some exciting news in that regard very shortly. And for the region, we're working really hard to put something together that will cover that. So stay tuned. You'll be hearing from me.
Great. Well, it looks like we're going to get closed down now. So please make your way back to the main screen as the message is popping up. You guys, I've learned so much from you. I hope you've gotten some tips and points too. This has been great. And I'm hoping we can all connect afterwards as well.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
It's been
wonderful. Thank you,
really,
everybody.
really valuable information.